Okay, so what if I told you that the next huge leap in AI wasn't built by a massive team of elite coders, but was actually dreamed up by a single visionary with one powerful idea? Today, we are diving into a truly revolutionary AI architecture. But you know what? The real story isn't just the tech, it's how it was made, and the totally radical new way of creating things that it represents. And this quote, this is everything. It's the key that unlocks this whole story. It's from the project's architect, Daniel Campos Ramos, and it just lays out this almost unbelievable premise. A massive, complex AI system built by a self-proclaimed no-coder. And you gotta pay attention to his words here. He didn't just use AI as a tool, he worked with you AI guys as a team, as partners. So right away, this is the central puzzle we've got to solve. How on earth does someone without a deep programming background end up architecting one of the most ambitious AI systems ever thought up? It sounds like a total paradox, right? But the answer? Well, it points to a completely new way of thinking about how we invent things. To really get the how, we've got to first understand the who. So let's meet the seriously unlikely architect behind this entire vision. This is Daniel Campos Ramos, an electrical engineer from Brazil. And his background, that's the crucial piece here. See, he doesn't think in lines of Python or C++. He thinks like an engineer. He sees systems, flow, the fundamental logic of how all the complex parts are supposed to fit together. And that high-level architectural mindset, that turned out to be his unique superpower. But okay, how do you take this incredible architectural vision and turn it into millions of lines of working code if you're not a coder? The answer is in this revolutionary creative process he pioneered, a method he calls vibe coding. So, vibe coding, it's not just about typing a prompt into an AI assistant and getting back a little piece of code. Not at all. Think of it more like conducting a symphony, but your orchestra is made of AI collaborators. Daniel was the composer. He provided the vibe, the core theme, the structure, the whole vision. And his orchestra? It was a whole team of AIs like OpenAI's Codex, DeepSeek, and Gemini. They acted as his lead musicians, his project managers, and his programmers, turning that vision into a finished masterpiece. Let's break down how this actually works, step by step. It all starts with the human architect, that's Daniel, defining the big picture goal, the vibe. Then you get the AI collaboration. Here, the AI partners are like his brainstorming buddies, refining his ideas, suggesting technical ways to get it done. After that, the AI coders take over, translating that abstract plan into actual executable code. And finally, it all comes back to the human architect, who integrates all the pieces and steers the whole project, making sure that the final product still has that original core vibe. It's like a true hybrid mind at work. You know, this simple little correction Daniel made to one of his AI collaborators, it tells you everything you need to know about his mindset. He doesn't see himself as a user commanding a tool, he sees a genuine partnership. This isn't human versus machine, or even human using a machine, it's human and machine, together. And that is a profound shift in thinking. So we've met the architect and we've seen the method. Now, let's check out the cathedral they built together. The result of all this vibe coding is a groundbreaking system for organizing information, a project called Knowledge3D, or K3D for short. Now, to really get what K3D is, you first have to understand the problem it's solving, which is basically digital amnesia. Most of today's AIs have a memory that's like a flat, endless scroll. Information is there for a second, but only within this tiny context window. The moment it scrolls past, poof, it's gone, forgotten. K3D was designed to completely replace that fragile scroll with a permanent, interconnected 3D web of knowledge, a structure that works a whole lot more like our own brains. And the goal here wasn't just to build another piece of software. It's way bigger than that. The goal is to build a cognitive habitat, literally a place where intelligence can live. It's a shared universe where knowledge isn't just abstract data on a screen, but a real, tangible, spatial environment that both humans and AIs can explore and interact with together. At its core, K3D has this dual memory system that's a lot like our own brains. First, you've got the galaxy. It's this dynamic, kind of chaotic space for all the new stuff, the incoming data. Think of it as the AI's short-term working memory. And then you have the house. This is a persistent, superstructured 3D environment for the important, consolidated long-term knowledge. This is the AI's permanent hard drive.
And in the chaos of the galaxy, new data shows up as these geometric stars. This is just brilliant. The actual shape of the star instantly tells the AI what kind of information it's looking at. A simple tetrahedron, that's text. A cube, that's an image. A really complex icosahedron, that's video. The geometry itself is the metadata. It's so clever.
So how does all this information get from the messy galaxy into the organized house? Well, through a process the system calls sleep time compute. And it's exactly what it sounds like. Just like our own brains sort through memories while we sleep, the K3D system periodically goes offline to process the day's data. It sifts through all that temporary info in the galaxy, finds the important patterns and connections, and then builds that knowledge into the permanent, structured architecture of the house. But this whole thing isn't just about building a better memory for a single AI. The bigger vision, the grand plan, is about laying the foundation for a completely new kind of internet. K3D is really seen as a foundational building block for something much, much bigger, the spatial web. Imagine an internet that you don't just browse, but that you actually inhabit. Instead of clicking through flat web pages, you would navigate through a universe of interconnected 3D spaces. It would basically blur the line between our digital and physical lives for good. This quote from Daniel just perfectly sums up the architectural genius of K3D. By offloading the massive burden of memory into the environment itself, the AI's brain, its core processing, can be so much leaner and more efficient. It doesn't have to waste energy remembering everything. It just has to know how to navigate its world to find what it needs. So what does this all look like in the real world? Well, the applications are pretty transformative. In architecture, just imagine teams literally walking through a virtual building together, making changes in real time. For autonomous systems, picture a self-driving car that doesn't just see a person, but understands the entire spatial context of the street. Or in personalized medicine, a doctor could navigate a 3D map of a patient's medical history, visually spotting patterns that would be totally invisible in a spreadsheet. It's all about making impossibly complex data intuitive. The story of K3D really points to a future where our reality is co-created by human vision and artificial intelligence. And in a world where knowledge becomes a place we live in and our memory becomes the landscape itself, we have to start asking a new kind of question. It's not just about what we can build anymore. It's about who gets to draw the maps.